Welcome everyone to the first installment of Riko Reacts. This was a suggestion made by a person in chat on my March 25th stream. Basically, they suggested I react to videos on the channel Crypt TV. It's a horror-themed channel, and since I love all things horror, they thought it'd be a good idea for me to do some reactions. And, well, I certainly agreed with them. And actually, going forward, I might do just different reactions in general, be it movies or like trailers or TV shows, maybe music, anime, whatever. It's just something I might explore. So what I'm doing today is a reaction to a couple of videos from Crypt TV. They're shorter videos. I know they have longer videos out there, but for now we're just going to do a couple short ones. A short film that's about 7 minutes, and then another kind of behind the scenes video. I had done initial recording of these, but I wasn't quite happy with the audio, so I'm hoping this turns out better. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and start out with the first one, Laundry Night. I do like the apartment setup here, where it's all kind of claustrophobic.
Down to the basement. Can you stay on the phone till I'm done? I'm not paranoid, okay? If a crackhead runs out at me, you can call 911 while I fend him off with my knife. I know how to use the knife, okay? Remember I took that class? Come on.
I like how this conversation is setting up the kind of the atmosphere and the
building's a piece of shit. Every time I use a blow dryer, I have to run down to the murder basement to flip the breaker. Oh, it's here.
It says a lot about, just this kind of phone conversation says a lot about the kind of neighborhood that she lives in, if she's worrying about crackheads and carrying a knife to defend herself with. Laundry night. Not exactly the kind of place I would want to stay at, that's for sure.
What are you doing tonight? That sounds fun. Originally, I thought you were coming over.
Ooh, who is that?
I wonder if we'll find out. To help me do this. Yeah, I'm just trying to not get murdered in my basement doing laundry. Okay, there's just a lot of nooks and crannies for rapists.
Murdered in the basement of your apartment building, worrying about crackheads and all kinds of other crazy people. Kind of makes me wonder why you're in this apartment. I don't know, maybe it's the only one she could afford, but I just kind of like the setup. It's very classic horror, very much a horror trope. You're in this dingy building, this old, who knows where this is located, all by yourself. It's an apartment building. You'd think there'd be other people, but no, she's alone. So, I don't know, I like the setup. It's classic. Love it.
Hi. Yeah. So, is Sarah gonna be there?
Sarah.
It's just, yeah. Just been a lot of Sarah lately. Yeah, I know not everything's about me, but some things are about me, and this is about me. And you being a massive fuckboy. Hello? Liz? Hello?
Another classic horror trope right there. You lose connection. That said, when you're in the basement of a building like that, it's probably kind of normal to lose your cell phone connection, all the piping and metal and crap. Of course, that's not normal. Hearing random cries and screams on your phone.
Come on, let's go, let's go!
Kicking machines makes everything better.
Oh, come on! The breakers in this building.
Look at the size of this breaker room. Look at all these breaker boxes. This must be like I don't know, some kind of a ginormous apartment complex. At least where I'm at, it's a kind of a fourplex. I'm not sure what you call that, but there's only 2 floors and like 4 apartment rooms. I've never seen anything this massive. Not to mention, she walks right on in. I'm surprised she has access to this place. And that she knows what to do. Or not what to do, but like which one is hers. Maybe they're marked. Company. We got company.
Oh, fuck yes. Oh, yeah, I'm good. All right, let's get this show on the road. Yes! Oh, my God.
And the lights are back and our mysterious friend is gone. Classic. No trespassing. Is that supposed to be the elevator shaft? I'm pretty sure we've established the elevator sucks. Why not take the stairs? Her cute little paring knife there. Then again, it's not like she's got a Rambo knife just sitting in her belt or something like that.
Fuck! Hello?
Ooh, we got company.
Do you need help? No, wait. Wait, please. Fuck. Stop, stop.
That's one way to solve your problem. Just gonna pause it right there. I love the whole setup there with the guy randomly popping in and out of frame in the video. It makes me wonder if he's like some kind of a ghost, or if he's actually just a druggie that happens to be wandering around in the basement area. It does make me wonder. I mean, she just stabbed him, so you would think that'd be the end of it, but it's not exactly a big knife she had. So, I mean, it's possible he survived. But he almost kind of looks like maybe he was like an asylum patient or something. Like maybe there's more history to this apartment complex than we actually know, you know? So, I don't know, it raises a lot of fascinating questions. And I know this is a short, and we only got a couple minutes left, but I also really liked the makeup. The guy looked absolutely bizarre and creepy, you know? So, well, let's continue. Let's finish this up. Okay, it's a little bit more than a paring knife, I guess. Like a little utility knife, I suppose. What's that knife on the wall? Why didn't she take this thing for self-defense? She could have really gutted the guy. I guess it doesn't exactly fit in the pocket, though, does it?
Hi, it's me.
This guy in the basement. I stabbed him, and I think I might have killed him. And he told you. I told you there was.
I'm assuming this is Sarah that walked through the door.
Oh my God. Okay, we need to call 911. Can you call 911, please? Right now. We need to do that, okay? I'm just gonna... This is disgusting.
Where's Sarah? Oh, uh-oh. Well, that's not a good thing.
Wait, why are you here?
Well, the end. Somehow, I don't think she made it out of there. I don't think she made it out of there at all. Yeah, that's a simple yet fun little horror film with so many classic and entertaining tropes of the horror genre that I love. You know, the whole old dingy apartment in the bad neighborhood. It is kind of the feeling you got when she was talking about it on the phone. The flickering of the lights, the going to the breaker room, turning on. That was one hell of a break room, I will say that. That was a huge breaker room. But anyway, the guy showing up and disappearing. Classic, just classic stuff. No, that was very well done. Very simplistic, very basic, but man, was it effective. I think it worked out really well. I loved it. So, let's see. There's one other video that I was going to watch, and that was this guy. Whoops. So this is more of a behind-the-scenes video on the movie The Black Phone. It's actually a movie that it's from the same channel, Crypt TV, and I have not seen The Black Phone. I've heard of it. I'm vaguely aware of it, but like I said, I don't really know what it's about. So, and I do like these behind-the-scene features, which I believe is what this is. It's kind of a behind-the-scenes feature. So we'll check this one out, and then we'll probably wrap things up, and that'll be our first ever Riko Reacts.
Rapper. I wish you wouldn't say his name.
You don't actually believe that, do you? And he doesn't take kids that safe.
I'm no child psychologist, just a guy who talks about horror movies on the internet. But yeah, that little girl's gonna regret saying that. One of the most...
So before this gets into this little behind the scenes, I know it's a short video, but this is another horror trope that I just love to see, and that is it almost starts off as a fairy tale or a urban legend about someone that kidnaps people or kidnaps children and does whatever, kind of like a boogeyman type of a story. And I think those stories can be quite frightening because they can be very, very realistic sometimes. And this one, I think, is taking more of a supernatural approach in some regards. But it reminds me of, there's a movie in Japan that came out, probably 10, 15 years ago, maybe a little bit older than that, called Kuch Sakion, or the English title is Carved, the Slit-Mouthed Woman. And it's basically about a woman in a trench coat with a giant pair of scissors and a big slash across her face lets her mouth open up wider than what it should be able to. And basically she prowls around neighborhoods, kidnaps kids, and, kills them. Standard horror movie affair. But the interesting part with that is that there's actual mythology in Japan for her. As in, it's not like Friday the 13th or Freddy Krueger where the movie is the introduction to the character. No, this is someone that, if you look through history in the 90s, and I think in an early, and maybe another 10, 20 years back, there were people in Japan who thought she was real and thought she was actually running around doing all these terrible things. And so there's definitely more of a, I don't want to say a supernatural culture over there, but it's just interesting some of the things that, excuse me, just interesting some of the things that they turn into movies, or some of the urban legends that they have, I should say. So that's just kind of what this made me think of. So yeah, let's go ahead and continue and see what it's about.
Anticipated horror movies of the year is finally hitting theaters on June 24th, but some of us have been waiting over 10 years for this one. You see, 10 years ago, this fascinating thing happened. Ethan Hawke, a four-time Oscar nominee, long known as a leading man in Hollywood, made what was, in a career that at that point stretched back 25 years, his first horror movie. He starred in a whole bunch since, but it took a special film to bring Hawke into the genre. That movie just happened to be an instant classic that's been called one of the scariest movies of all time, Sinister. Fun fact about Sinister, it was directed by Scott Derrickson from a script he co-wrote with C. Robert Cargill for Blumhouse. And here's why.
And sorry, I don't mean to pause it too often here, but Sinister is awesome. I like Sinister. I saw that movie in theaters when it came out, and that movie is scary. That one's really good. I actually didn't know that Black Phone was being done by the same people who did Sinister. So, just hearing that, I'm very excited to see what this movie is going to be like. There's already a market quality on it because Sinister, that's a creepy movie. Even being so accustomed to horror movies myself, there were a few scenes in there that definitely made me jump, and one or two that made me laugh as well because just the silliness of it. So no, hearing the people behind Sinister is doing the Black Phone makes me even more curious.
What makes that fact especially fun, that whole team is finally back together with Hawke starring in a new Blumhouse horror film from Derrickson and Cargill, The Black Phone. Based on the award-winning short story of the same name by Joe Hill, The Black Phone centers around 13-year-old Finney Shaw, played by newcomer Mason Thames,
And I
who's
remember
abducted by a
seeing,
mass serial killer
some
known
of
as
this
the
stuff
Grabber.
in
the
the
Grabber's
trailer.
basement where Finney is being held captive is a phone, and you'll never guess what's up with that phone. If you said it's black, that is true, but the answer
Yes,
I was
it
looking
is.
for is despite being disconnected, the phone still rings and Finney is able to talk to the Grabber's victims from beyond the grave as they try to help him escape. So, there's a bit more to it. The writers
Yeah.
took the challenge of turning Hill's short story with a simple, chilling concept into a
And I saw the trailer for this movie. Sorry if I'm pausing again, but I remember seeing the trailer for this movie. They never really went to what the phone was for. So that's a story detail that I didn't know. And hearing that, I'm just that much more excited for it.
feature by trying to build a familiar world. They set it in the late 70s, which is when they were actually Finney's age, and it was this crazy period in America plagued by serial killers, child abductors, and an unprecedented amount of bullying. Grounding the film there was important.
And I
for
think
them.
that's
Cargill
where
has
a
even
lot
said
of
they
horror
wanted to
movies
make a
come into
coming-of-age
play.
film that got
There's a lot of
interrupted by
horror
a
movies that seem to
movie. And
take
of
place in the
course, that
70s.
movie stars Hawke in an unforgettable turn as the Grabber, a failed magician turned serial killer who terrorizes a small Colorado town while wearing a collection of horrifying masks, which happen to be designed by absolute legend Tom Savini. While most of us see the Black Phone as a long-anticipated reunion, the thrilling tale is set to carve out its own place and challenge Sinister for the title of your favorite Blumhouse horror movie, directed by Scott Derrickson, co-written by C. Robert Cargill, and starring Ethan Hawke. You can finally see The Black Phone in theaters on June 24th. Until next time, keep the horror on the screen and off the street.
Yeah, so there was that little behind the scenes with the Black Phone. I'll have to watch that movie. That does look really good now that I learned more about it. And actually I really like these behind the scene type videos where they give you a little bit more information about the making of or the actors or how things came to be. I've got more DVDs and Blu-rays than I know what to do with, and I still like to buy them versus just getting them digitally, the movies that is. And part of the reason is some of these movies, they'll come with special features or making of documentaries or what have you. And they're just so much fun to watch. Or sometimes listening to the commentary on the movies and just getting a little bit more insight into them. I think that's very fascinating. But yeah, I'll definitely have to check out the Black Phone and Crypt TV, man. I'm gonna have to watch more of this stuff because, from the Laundry Night short movie that they had to this little behind the scenes, I can tell that this type of content is right up my alley. So we'll have to do this again sometime. I really enjoyed it. Besides, I'm very curious as to what's going on with this creepy Muppet looking freak here in the upper left corner. I wonder if he's the host of this Choose Your Nightmare, like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt, or who this guy is. So anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there. I didn't want to go too far with stuff tonight, or this being my first reaction ever that I'll be posting online, I wanted something short and sweet, simple, get my feet wet with, and I really enjoyed Crypt TV, so I might react to more of these guys. Like I said, movies, animes, TV shows, whatever. Be playing the schedule by ear. I'm not sure when the next video will go up. But hey, thank you all so much for the suggestions. Feel free to leave others in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.